Everyone, I hope you have had an amped up week, and I'm so glad that you're here to rock out with all of us today. In today's jam session, we'll play an awesome game, belt out some worship songs, and we're going to tune in to what the truth of the Bible has for us today. So let's get things tracking and find out what it means to show cooperation. Cooperation is just simply working together to do more than you and I could ever do alone. So in just a few minutes, we're going to open up our Bible and learn more about cooperation. But right now, I think we need to have some fun. Yeah, it's game time. That was fun, but let's keep it rolling. Everybody up on your feet. It's time to sing some songs of worship to Jesus. Come on, everybody up. Let's sing it out together.
Jesus, you have been so faithful. Jesus, you have been so true. I will be forever thankful, 'cause I never had a friend like you. Help me to be you've been to me, to everyone I see. Let us love one another with a love like no other yet. That's the way you love us, God. Never turn away, you are with us every day, yeah. That's the way you love us, God. Your love is always been beginning to end. There's never been a better friend. So let us love one another with our love like no other yet. That's the way you love us, God. You with me in the darkest valley. You with me on the mountaintop. I'm thankful that you never leave me, and that your love will never stop. Help me to be who you've been to me, to everyone I see. Let us love one another with a love like no other yet. That's the way you love us, God. Never turn away, you are with us every day, yeah. That's the way you love us, God. Your love has always been thank you for being a friend who's always by my side. I wanna thank you for the way you love me all my life. I wanna thank you for being a friend who's always by my side. I wanna thank you for the way you love me all my life. Love one another with that love like no other, yeah. That's the way you love us, God. Never turn away, you are with us every day, yeah. That's the way you love us, God. Your love is always been beginning to end. There's never been a better friend. So let us love one another with our love like no other, yeah. That's the way you love us, God.
Great job. Hey, right now, let's just kind of stop for just a moment. Let's bow our heads and pray to God, okay? Dear Jesus, we just want to say how much we love you. We thank you for loving us, and thank you for allowing us this awesome opportunity to hang out with the kids today online and learn more about cooperation. So, God, I'm just being honest today. I don't know how to communicate this to the kids in my way. I need your words. I need your wisdom so that we can clearly communicate this to the kids in a way that they'll understand it and know how to live it out each and every day of this week. And God, we also just want to pause right now and ask you to please continue to be with the families over in the Europe area, God, that's really a lot of different people are just being affected by this war. The Russians, the Ukrainians, the Polish, the Romanians, and so many others over there are just being impacted in different ways. So God, we just ask for your love and peace to fill their hearts. God, we pray that you'll keep them safe. Be with the kids especially, God. I know that they have a lot of anxieties going on over there, so I pray that your peace would just flood their hearts. And even the kids right here at home, God, I know that they probably hear a lot of things from different ones, and it can be confusing, it can be frightening. And God, I pray that you'll just remind them that you're in control, we're safe over here, and God, we have nothing to worry about knowing that we're in your hands. So I pray that that'll just bring peace to their hearts. So today, God, be with us. God, we're going to sing another song here in just a second. It's just our way of saying we love you and we appreciate how much you love us. So we pray and ask these things in your name. Amen. We know, kids, last week we learned a new song called Love Like You. And it says, in everything we do, we want to live like you. So let's take these words to heart and then put them into action in our lives. Come on, everybody up and let me hear you sing.
Anytime we need you, God, you're always there for us. Whatever we go through, God, you are the one we trust. We're working together just to share your love. That's all we want.
You know, as I said earlier today, we're taking another look at a great story of cooperation from God's people, the Israelites. See, God had promised to make the Israelites into this great nation, but it took a while for that to happen. And so for many years, the Israelites, well, they lived in slavery in Egypt. But eventually, God set them free and led them from Egypt into the wilderness. And God had prepared a land where the Israelites could live, but they hadn't made it there yet. So the people, they traveled through the desert without a home of their own. They lived in tents. They were moving from place to place. And it just seemed like it would have been easy for an enemy to attack them and then win. Well, that's where today's story begins. As I said, the Israelites, you know what? They didn't have a land of their own, so they were in danger if someone tried to attack. And the Amalekites saw that the Israelites were in a very weak position, and they decided to come after God's people. Well, Moses was the leader of the Israelites, and he spoke to Joshua, who headed up this group of Israelites who went to battle. And Moses told Joshua in Exodus chapter 17, verse 9, he says, "Choose some of our men, then go out and fight against the Amalekites. Tomorrow I will stand on top of the hill. I'll stand there holding the walking stick that God gave me." Now, you have to understand, the Amalekites were strong warriors, but Moses told Joshua to take some of their men and fight back. You see, Moses trusted God. He believed that God would help the Israelites win. Well, what else did Moses have to say? Well, he went on to say, "Tomorrow I'll stand on top of the hill and I'll stand there holding the walking stick that God gave me." See, Moses planned to hold his walking stick high in the air. It was Moses' way of showing that God was with the Israelites. Well, the next day, the Israelite warriors, they began to fight against the Amalekites. And as they fought, Moses went to the top of the hill with his brother Aaron and his friend Hur. And Moses held this walking stick up in the air. Now listen to what happened next. This is in verse 11. It says, as long as Moses held up his hand, the Israelites were winning. But every time he lowered his hands, the Amalekites began to win. See, when Moses was holding that walking stick up in the air, the Israelites were winning. But when Moses got tired and his hand started to lower a little bit, well, that's when the Amalekites began to win. So it was important for Moses to keep this stick raised high so that the Israelites would win. But Moses wasn't a young guy, and the battle began to take a really long time. So remember, they were also in the desert, so the sun was beating down on Moses, which made his task even a little bit more difficult. It might not seem that difficult to hold a stick up in the air, but you give it a try sometimes. You keep it up there for a little bit and your arms start to feel heavy and a little bit weak. And it might seem simple at first, but over time, even a walking stick can become very, very heavy. Well, that's pretty much what happened with Moses on the hill. But you see, Aaron and Hur saw that Moses had a need, so they stepped in to help Moses succeed at his task. Here's what happened. This is verse 12. It says, when Moses' arms got tired, Aaron and Hur got a stone and put it under him, and then he sat on it. Aaron and Hur held up his hands. Aaron was on one side, Hur was on the other. Moses' hands remained steady until sunset. There you have it. See, Aaron and Hur saw that Moses was in need, and they decided to help. They got Moses a stone that he could sit on and rest, and then they held up Moses' hands so he could keep the stick up in the air. Now, with the help of his brother and his friend, Moses was able to keep going. And he held this walking stick in the air throughout the entire day so that the Israelites would win. Now that Moses could easily hold up this walking stick, what do you think happened? Yeah, Moses, Aaron, and Hur, they succeeded. The Israelites succeeded. They won the battle against these fierce Amalekites. Israel defeated the Amalekites together through God's power. And it took the cooperation of the warriors in battle, as well as the cooperation of Aaron, Moses, and Hur to win against this enemy. You know, I think about it. It was only because of Aaron and Hur that Moses was able to keep his walking stick lifted high the entire day. So Aaron and Hur helped Moses succeed by working together and giving him the boost that he needed. And you know what? that's what we can do as well. We can work together to help someone succeed. All of us need a little help sometimes. We don't have to face tough things alone. We can be there for each other. We can work together to help others succeed.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Exodus, chapter 17, verses 8 through 13.
God had freed the Israelites from slavery in Egypt and led them into the desert. But with no home of their own, the Israelites were still wide open to enemy attack as they traveled. One evening, as Moses walked through the camp, his assistant Joshua raced up.
Amalekites!
Where? How many?
Just a few men right now. They attacked at the rear, where many of the women and children are. But we beat them back.
They'll come in full force tomorrow.
Moses turned to survey the land around them in the last rays of the setting sun. The whole valley of Rephidim spread out before them. Nearby, a high hill provided a lookout for the whole countryside.
We have no army.
We'll have to fight. You choose our best men and get ready for battle in the morning.
Will you come with us?
No,
Moses pointed at the hilltop.
I'll climb up there and hold up the walking stick that God gave me.
Both men looked at a sturdy staff in Moses' hand. It was no ordinary stick. Moses had lifted the staff when God had parted the water of the Red Sea so the Israelites could escape.
Yes, sir. I'll call the men.
In the great chill before dawn, Joshua and his group of inexperienced fighters prepared for battle against the Amalekites.
I've never held a sword.
God has saved us many times. He can do it again.
As the ragtag army gathered at one end of the valley, Moses climbed the hill with his brother Aaron and his friend Hur.
So, Moses, what's the plan?
Yeah, those Amalekites got some mean fighters.
We'll call on God.
As the three men crested the hill, they turned to look back. The rising sun flooded the valley. They could see Joshua and the Israelites just below. At the far end of the valley, a vast swarm of Amalekites rushed forward.
Oh, more Amalekites than bees in a hive.
Within minutes, the two groups clashed. It was clear from the very beginning that the Amalekites had the upper hand.
They'll wipe us out in no time.
Wait.
At the very crest of the hill, Moses grabbed his staff and raised both hands high in the air.
Our God is stronger than any enemy.
In a short time, the tide seemed to turn.
Well, what do you know? Joshua's pushing them back.
The Israelites steadily beat back the Amalekite army. But as the sun rose and the heat increased, Moses' arms grew tired. Little by little, his arms sank down.
Uh-oh. The Amalekites have busted through our line right there.
We were doing so well.
God, help us.
With an effort, Moses lifted his hands high again. Joshua had formed a strong band of fighters, and once again, the Israelites surged forward. Moses lowered his arms to stretch.
Ah, my back! What just happened? Joshua had them.
Moses stepped forward to see, raising his hands high again. Aaron turned to stare at his brother.
It's your hands. When your hands are raised up toward God, we're winning.
Yeah, and when you drop them, those fool Amalekites start to win.
Yes, but I can't do this all day.
Moses' arms began to shake.
Hold it one more minute. I got a rock-solid plan. Aaron?
Together, Aaron and Hur rolled a huge stone to the place where Moses stood.
Now, you set yourself right down, Mo.
Carefully, Moses lowered himself onto the rock, fighting to keep his hands high in the air.
My arms!
We got it, brother.
Aaron and Hur each stood on one side of Moses and held up a hand.
Whew!
For the rest of the day, Aaron and Hur stood right beside Moses, keeping his hands steady. By sunset, Joshua and the Israelites completely defeated the Amalekites.
Look at him run!
The Amalekites had been defeated by God's power, but it was only by working together with his friends that Moses had been able to keep his hands lifted high all day.
I think it's really cool how Aaron and Hur worked together to help Moses. They supported Moses' arms so he could keep his walking stick raised in the air. And because they worked together, that meant that Joshua and the Israelites won the battle. Each person did their part to help someone else succeed. So it's important for us that we take the time to do that. So remember, work together to help someone succeed. It doesn't just mean that you hold someone else's arms up in the air. There are lots of ways that we can help others succeed. Maybe you could find a friend and maybe help them understand how to do their homework. Or maybe you could help a younger brother or sister clean their room. Maybe your friend is playing in a soccer game or has a part in a play. You know what? You could make a poster and cheer them on from the audience. I know, maybe you could just hug your mom or dad or the person who takes care of you and thank them for all that they do to make sure your family has what you need. Jesus once said in Matthew chapter 7, verse 12, "In everything, do to others what you would want them to do to you." We all need help sometimes, and when we do, we hope someone will offer to help us succeed. And so that's why it's important for you and I to lend a hand and work together to help other people. It's a great way that we can treat others the way we want to be treated. Well, listen, that's the lesson for us today. But before we go, how are you guys doing with this month's Bible verse? Are you trying to memorize it? Just haven't got it down yet? That's okay. Let's go over it together. Remember, it's Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9, and we learn it in the New International Reader's Version, okay? So here it is. 2 people are better than 1. They can help each other in everything they do. All right, that was pretty good, but let's say it one more time because we're still trying to learn it, okay? Here we go. 2 people are better than 1. They can help each other in everything they do. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9. Nerve. All right, well, good job, kids. Keep working on that verse, and you better be sure to check back in with us next week because we got some more cooperation to learn about, all right? You know the routine, right hand up in the air, high five. I'll see you soon.